Hi everyone and welcome to North Dakota Hockey with Brad Berry alongside the head coach. I'm your host Greg Ankers. Coach, as you entered this past weekend against Denver, this really hitting the stretch run of the NCHC season. 8 games to go, 4 series starting on the road, and for the first time all season you had a full complement of players that you could pick from to build your roster. How did that impact your preparation this week?
Obviously glad to have everybody back in our lineup. Obviously going out to Denver, it was great to have Drake Kajula, Nick Schmaltz back in our lineup, Chris Wilkie available for us. They bring an offensive part of our game, which on Friday night you saw. We needed to score some goals, and they did. And again, it wasn't a result we wanted, but it's good to have a full complement of players.
And Friday's game certainly played out as one that would probably be constituted as a headache for coaches, but a real treat for fans, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know what, I've heard on more than one occasion about how entertaining the game was from a fan's perspective, but when you're on the wrong side of it or the losing side of it, it's a little frustrating. Obviously the goals we gave up were a little concern, and again, we're going to address that.
The show here is for the fans, so buckle your seatbelt as we go to Friday night's highlights from Magnus Arena. And your team really came out and established control of this game early on, didn't they?
Yeah, you know what? I thought the first 10 minutes of the first period, we had jump, we had a lot of tenacity, and I thought we got a lot of pucks to their net.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's an early chance here off the stick of Troy Stetcher and Rhett Gardner right there on the doorstep. But Tanner Gillette there to make the save to keep it scoreless early on. Then later on, 5.5 minutes into the game now, your team still very much in control, and a good entry into the zone, and Christian Wolanin following the play gets the goal here to put your team out in front 1-0.
Yeah, it was a good entry into the offensive zone, and part of that is our D-man joining the rush, and you can see Christian there join and get a puck to the net.
Wolanin with his 4th of the year. 7 minutes later in the first, though, Denver's going to answer back at the other end, and this would be a moment that Wolanin would probably like back, at least initially, as he comes up and going to trip up the Denver skater here. And then on the delayed penalty, Denver keeps control of the zone, and that leads to a goal to tie things up at 1 apiece as Nolan Zajac with the shot gets tipped out in front by Grant Arnold for his 4th goal of the year. So we're all knotted up at 1 goal apiece as we move into the second period now, 6 minutes in, and this looked like a play where the players were talking before the face-off, and Denver almost seemed to have this play called out off the draw there.
Yeah, we call it a high blast play, and again, we know what's coming as far as their lineup on the face-off. It's just that we got tied up as far as our coverage, and got a couple guys to one and nobody to a backdoor tap in, and again, we got to be better at that.
Paul Ledoux couldn't quite get to Trevor Moore on that play, so it's 2-1 Denver. 5 minutes after that, then a nice play here in the defensive zone by Gage Hospice is going to lead to a game-tying goal at the other end.
Yeah, I thought Gage did a really good job defending the rush there, and it started us on the breakout, and a great play that we often practice, and Troy Stetcher made no mistake.
Yeah, a fantastic pass by Nick Schmaltz. He put it right where he had to, which was actually a little bit behind Stetcher on this play, but that's where it had to go as Stetcher goes top shelf for his 6th of the year. So we're tied at 2 goals apiece. Less than 2 minutes later, though, Denver's going to retake the lead as they catch your defense with some sticks in the middle as Heinen goes to Moore, who goes to Adam Plant for the goal.
Yeah, they did an interchange down the wall, and again, we lost coverage in front of the net with their backdoor D-man coming to the front of the net. And as you can see, we have to make sure that we protect those tap-in goals. We don't want to allow those ones for sure. Yeah,
Plant sneaking in on the backside there for his 2nd of the year. 3-2 Denver heading into the third, and early on in the third period, your team sustaining pressure here. 1:30 in, Stetcher's going to hook up with Brock Besser for another game-tying goal at this point.
Yeah, really good movement. Obviously, we did an interchange down the wall, and Brock finds himself at the side of the net, and where he most often does, and connects with a very important goal.
Great play once again by Stetcher, a fantastic two-way defenseman. Deep into the zone. He's not uncomfortable down there by any stretch, and Besser's not going to miss those opportunities as he collects his 19th goal of the season to tie things up at 3 apiece. 6 minutes later then, though, Denver once again, as this game continues to go back and forth, they answer, and this looks like something out of a Pioneer practice, unfortunately, Coach.
Yeah, you know what? We lost coverage through the middle of the ice on a set breakout play, and again, when you give guys time and space, especially that line, that's what's going to happen. So again, it's about awareness when they're on the ice.
That top line of Moore, Heinen, and Gambrill threw fits at you all series long. Under 4 to go. Your team working a power play here. Besser and Schmaltz combined for a bad turnover that leads to Quentin Shore's goal right out in front.
Yeah, we just went on the power play, and we're going to get a retrieve there. They brought pressure on us here, and again, most important thing before we get on the offense for power play is getting it and making sure that we have possession, and we didn't do it there.
Your team controlled a lot of pace of play that we talked about early in the first, early in the third, but Denver seemed to capitalize on any opportunities that they were given. 30 seconds after that goal, though, the empty net on your end and a power play, so it's 6-on-4, and Nick Schmaltz makes up for it, getting his 4th goal of the year here.
Yeah, you know what, it was a good reply, good bounce back, but obviously when you're down 2 goals late in the game, it's tough to get back in it, but we did, and again, we made a great play on it, and I think we had a couple opportunities later on.
Schmaltz's 4th of the year. It's a 5-4 game, then under a minute to go. Chance after chance after chance. You couldn't get it by Gillette, but the pressure was there. You just couldn't quite get the right bounces. Kajula is going to come up with a doorstop opportunity here, but just can't quite punch it by number 36.
Yep, we had the chances on our tape to tie it, and again, we didn't connect, but again, we did the right things to try to do that. But the games earlier on, you got to make sure you take control of the game before this happens.
Then right off of a face-off, Stetcher goes off the crossbar here, and that will eventually lead to the empty net goal as Denver's going to cap it off here. A couple defensemen slipping on the play, and Moore feeds Heinen for his 12th. Heinen with 5 points on the night as Denver goes on to win this one by a final of 6-4. As we mentioned, though, UND controlling a lot of this game, 45-31 shots in your favor, Coach, and Denver, a big story of why they were able to keep this one in check, 27 blocked shots as well. Following the loss on Friday night, here's what your players were talking about in the locker room after the game.
I don't think we played that bad of a hockey game. Every goal they had, I think, was a result of our mistakes and not bearing down and being aware of who's on the ice. So that really cost us tonight. Our play away from the puck. Our effort was there tonight, and anytime you score 4 goals, you're giving yourself a chance to win. We did that tonight.
Even with the majority of our fans being here, it was still a tough environment to play in. The fans were kind of battling back and forth, and the coaches said it going into it. It's going to be a tough place to play. It's going to be a battle all night long, and unfortunately, we came out on the losing end.
I thought we played well. We just had a few D-zone coverage breakdowns on their top line, and if you give those guys time and space, they're going to make plays, and that's what they did tonight. So we got to be better on that line tomorrow.
Coach, it was a game that was controlled in a lot of different phases by your team. Do you feel like the ultimate difference was more on the mental side of things, or was it physical in nature?
I think it was probably mostly mental. I think our compete and our battle level, it was at a high again. I think it was just the mental mistakes that we did make during the game that provided the other team with momentum. When we were here before Christmas against Denver, we were rock solid in every area, and part of that was being strong mentally.
All right. Following Friday night's loss, UND would regather itself and go back to work on Saturday night, hoping to salvage a split in Denver. Coach and I will take a look at Saturday's highlights right after this.
North Dakota Hockey with Brad Barry on Midco Sports Network is presented by RydellCars.com, Sue Shop at Ralph Ingolstadt Arena, and Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables too.
Welcome back, Coach. Your team looking to salvage the split in Denver as the series finale recapped on Saturday night as we go back to Magnus Arena, and another face back in your lineup, Chris Wilkie making his return to the rotation, and Cam Johnson back in net. No problem there. It was 6 goals on Friday night, but it was more of the defense in front of him, so Johnson gets the call again. And in the first period of this one, Coach, some early scoring chances and some grade A chances for you.
Yeah, you know what? We did a good job of breaking pucks out there. Obviously, Drake having a chance off the rush. Again, we wanted to make sure that we played the right way.
Midway through the opening period, though, Danton Heinen feeds Dylan Gambrell for the goal, his 8th of the year, giving Denver that early 1-0 advantage. Your team playing from behind, but 30 seconds after that, a similar play at the other end involving Luke Johnson and Austin Pagansky.
Yeah, another good entry here, obviously fighting for the puck off the entry, and Luke Johnson protects the puck, makes a great play to Austin, and Austin makes a great shot in the net.
Definitely a high shot, one difficult for Tanner Gillette to have any chance on. Pagansky's 7th goal of the year ties things up at 1 goal apiece. Then moments after this, some key stops came at the other end by Cam Johnson. First, we'll see Will Butcher with a shot on net for the Pioneers that gets tipped out in front by Danton Heinen, but Johnson coming up with the big save as just preventing this one from going across the line as it gets behind him. for just a moment.
Yeah, you know what? Off entry, Cam had to get called on and made a great save there. We let a guy go to the net, and they had a backdoor opportunity.
Then just after that, another Pioneers rush into the zone, getting a goal on, and then it's an 8-man pile up in front of Cam.
Yep, that's what happens when pucks lay around. You got to take bodies and sticks away, and there's a number of bodies you can see.
Your team would still continue to generate chances at the other end as well. Off of a Denver turnover, Brock Besser is going to get the puck up ahead, and he doesn't miss this one too many times, but he goes just wide there.
No, I think the puck rolled on end at the last minute, and I think he had some pressure coming from the backside, but again, great opportunity.
Stetcher follows it up with a shot on goal as we end the first, tied up at 1 goal apiece in the second period. Face-off wins for your team on this night were rare. You win one here, but it leads to a turnover, and Jared Lukasavagis is wide open in the slot, and he gets the goal there for his 5th of the year as Denver takes a 2-1 advantage. And later in the period, this one going back and forth as we take another look at Lukasavagis' goal over Cam Johnson. Again, I mentioned this one going back and forth a bit as we see Austin Bagansky with a nice feed down low here to Tucker Poolman, but he's unable to get a good shot off. And then DU heading the other way on a 3-on-1, but Cam Johnson's going to come up with another big pad save here, Coach.
Yeah, you know what? Didn't clear a puck in the neutral zone, and they came, and Cam kept us in here. He kept us in the game to give us a chance to win the game.
Absolutely. A good response from your netminder on Saturday night, wasn't it?
For sure. He was sharp.
Third period now, Rhett Gardner going to get a shot on a rebound effort out in front by Kajula as he gets hauled down, would draw a penalty on the play, but it's still a 2-1 game at this point with 7 minutes to go. And a great find here as Kajula gets a grade A one-timer opportunity, but doesn't get enough on it.
Yeah, you're never going to see him miss that too many times. Anytime he gets that in the wheelhouse, it's usually in. But again, that was the story of the night.
4 minutes to go then. Somehow, some way, Trevor Moore gets behind the defense, skates in and scores there as Denver takes a 3-1 advantage with just under 4 minutes to go. And with 2 minutes left, your team on the power play and with the extra attacker, so another 6-on-4 opportunity. And Stetcher goes to Luke Johnson. Johnson can't finish on this one, and then we'll see Stetcher with a slap shot that gets blocked out in front, and blocked shots was another theme on this night, Coach.
Yeah, you know what, on the previous play there when Luke Johnson went behind the net there, or Stetcher did, we had a great opportunity. We couldn't close on it. And again, we had a lot of opportunities to try to get it close here and tie it up, but that's the way the night went again.
1 minute to go there.